Hey guys, this is Trevor Sullivan. We're going to be looking at the Nexus 10 today and doing a quick review of the Sonos application for tablets. We're running Android Jelly Bean 4.2.2 on the Nexus 10. This has a beautiful display of 2560 by 1600 pixels vertically. It's a beautiful display, a beautiful application that makes really fabulous use of the tablet interface. As you can see, the application is very well organized here. We have kind of three main sections going across here. We have our rooms and devices over here on the left. In the middle, we have the music that's currently playing and the queue list. And then on the right, we have an option to choose different musical sources. And as you can see, I've configured things like Last.fm, Pandora Radio. You can also use line-in to plug a device into your Sonos device directly, such as an iPhone or an Android phone or any other type of MP3 player. And then along the top here, we have a search box. We have our basic controls to start and stop the music or go to the next track. And then we've got our volume over here, which is really nice because we can actually control the volumes independently just by tapping on the main volume, and then it kind of breaks it out into our different locations here. So on the left-hand side here, we have our grouping capabilities. So we can hit the group button and we can actually split out the different devices so that we can play different audio sources on each device. Then if we hit group again, we can combine those, and as you can see, if you have 5 or 6 devices, you can actually just really quick hit select all, go into party mode and hit done, and they'll all be synchronized into a single entity. In the middle here, we've got the option to view our album art if applicable. Obviously that's just kind of a generic radio icon. We also have a share button, which is fabulous because you can share it with any application. So if you want to share on Twitter or Facebook or any email or anything else, it's very easy to share a track with one of your friends or family. If you go to the information button, we have some additional options. If it's a radio station, you can just add it to your favorite stations. One of the things I really like is that if you're playing a Pandora radio station, you actually get some additional contextual options that wouldn't normally be available for other music sources. So when a particular track is playing, just again, let's take a look at the album art there. When you go to the information button here, you actually have some additional options that are specific to Pandora. So we can bookmark this track or artist on Pandora, and that bookmarks it with our account, so we can go on the computer and look at a list of our bookmarked tracks later on. So it's kind of like a favorites thing. So you can mark that track as a favorite and go back and look at it later. You can also see, why is this track playing? What are the similar types of tones that are found in this music that make it appealing to you? So let's go ahead and pause that. The queue here, as you probably saw earlier, I accidentally tapped on the heading, which brings up the, kind of expands it to fill that space. And you can, browse through whatever's in your list of queued up tracks. If you want to delete a particular track from there, you can simply hit the edit button. And you can just kind of tap off the tracks that you want to get rid of. And then over here, this little dash, triple dash thing allows you to reorder the tracks just by grabbing it and moving it up and down in the list. So it's very easy to reorder the list if you want to change it. We can just clear out the list like that, or you can even save it as a playlist if you want on your Sonos devices. Now going back to the right hand side here, we have our musical sources. So we have a favorites option, so we can bookmark radio stations, we can bookmark like Pandora stations, I think, tracks that you run off your music library from your computer. So this gives you access to all your different audio sources, and you can see I've got Pandora set up. I have some different radio stations already configured. If you long press on a radio station, you can add it to your favorites or just hit play now. You can also edit them from here if you want. If you go back to your music library, this is fabulous because it just automatically allows you to search your music library from up here. So we could say filter, and there we go. We can dig into that artist, find the albums that we have, and then the tracks. So it's a very intuitive interface on the tablet especially. At the bottom of the music source pane here, we have a couple of options. So if we have a music source that's currently playing and you're going to go to bed and you want it to automatically shut off at night after you've gone to sleep for a while, you can actually set a sleep timer and hit OK, and it'll shut off your audio after that period of time has elapsed. You can also go to alarms and set up an alarm to wake up in the morning. So it's really fabulous. You can select what audio source you want to use. You can turn the alarm on and off, what time it's for, which rooms it's going to play on, which room you want it to play in. You can say what music you want it to play. There's a built-in Sonos chime, which is just a pretty generic sound. And you can also choose from lots of other sources, like your Sonos playlists that you've favorited, Pandora radio stations, or other radio stations. So you see I've got some saved here. You can also set the volume that you want it to play at. You can also set which days of the week you want it to play on. So if you don't want to wake up on Saturday morning, you can just uncheck that. And then finally, we have a little gear down here which allows us to go to our extended options. And there's a lot of options in here. We're not going to talk about all of them, but it's very easy to update your Sonos system. In fact, normally I think it automatically checks for updates, but if not, you can just go check for updates there. It'll actually run the updates on your physical Sonos devices straight from here, and you'll update the app itself through the standard Android, the Google Play Store download process or update process. One other thing I wanted to point out here is that we have a notification in the newest version of the Sonos application for Android, and what this allows us to do is have some basic controls over the Sonos application from the notification pull down in Android, rather than actually having to pull up the app. So we could be back here at the home screen and pull this down and simply pause or play our music, or if we're playing Pandora, we could actually like or unlike the music without actually having to enter the full application. So this is a really convenient little pull down, and it is contextual. So if we're playing Pandora, you have the like up or down buttons, but if you're playing a different audio source, you know, those like buttons aren't going to apply since they don't have any such feature. But yeah, this is a really great little settings area. One thing I will point out is that if you ever talk to Sonos support, they'll have you submit a diagnostic that has all your information on it. And I think you do that through the advanced settings and then submit diagnostics. Yeah, so you just hit the submit there. It gives you a little code at the end, and then the support person will have you read that code back to them, and they can look up your entire system's information. So it's a really streamlined support process. They can get an entire view into your Sonos audio system without you having to do any hard work. So yeah, from that point, I don't think there's really anything else to show, but I hope you guys like the review of the app. It's a very professional application. It looks very refined. They've fixed a lot of kind of little UI flaws here and there over time, and it's a really, really well-made app. So, you know, I hope you guys like that a lot.